Now that's old timey.
Hello, Acorns, and welcome back to Old Timey Tuesday. Going to do an old song that I learned from the Browns. Yeah, if you're not familiar with them, you should definitely check them out. Just a great family trio, two sisters and a brother. Great classic country music sound, amazing harmony. And I learned this song from this record here, which is a record I just found in Pap and Granny's house, when I was young. So it had just kind of always been there. And my three favorite songs on here were the one that I'm about to do, plus the old Hank Lachlan song, Send Me the Pillow That You Dream On. I'll put a link in the description below to the Browns version of that. It's probably my favorite version, although I loved Hank Lachlan's version. I love the Louvin Brothers version. And another one on here that was one of my favorites was I'll hold you in my heart till I can hold you in my arms. Now, if you've heard that song, there's a good chance you probably heard it from Eddie Arnold. I love Eddie Arnold's recording of it, but I love the Browns version more just because of that harmony. I said a while back on a video that great lead singing, to me, it's like a really good hamburger. But then harmony singing is like that same hamburger, but now you have lettuce and tomato and onion and maybe mayonnaise on the bun, all those things to kind of really make it have more flavor. So I'm a big harmony guy, of course, because of Pap. He sang harmony with his brothers and or with his brother Ray, and then with me, and then you got Corey and Katie. So our family's just always big on harmony, has been always big on harmony. A little backstory on the first time I heard this record. In Granny's living room to this day, there's an old Zenith stereo. It's about 4 feet long and probably about 3 feet tall, and all that it really has is one record player and a radio. And most of my life, that thing had been dormant, and I'd never really seen it playing. And so sometime in my teen years, I got curious about it, and I plugged it in and turned it on, and it powered up, and the radio worked. Had a pretty good sound, just had the two speakers, but I couldn't play any records. I think the belt maybe had come off, and Pap fixed that, and then I still couldn't play any records with it because it had no needle. You got to have a needle, And at that time, records had kind of gone out, and you couldn't really just go out and buy a needle for a record player. So I had to order one from a place in Chattanooga, which is not quite 2 hours from here. But anyway, got the needle. And for whatever reason, when I got that needle, the very first record that I played on that old Zenith stereo was this record, because it was inside. There's kind of a cabinet that opens with that Zenith stereo, and this was tucked inside there along with some other records. There's no telling where Pap and Granny bought it, possibly from the record, that is. They probably bought the Zenith stereo, I would imagine, from Rogers Electric, which was an old store in Murphy. It's where we got all of our televisions back in the day. Of course, it's gone now, but this record could have come from Collins Music Store, which was in Murphy there on Tennessee Street. It was gone before I ever came along. This would have been back in the late 60s, maybe early 70s. If you've heard of Randall Collins, he's a really well accomplished fiddle player. He's played with some pretty big bluegrass musicians like Kenny Baker. He played with Rob Mashburn for a while there. He played a little bit with Pap and Ray. He played maybe even a little bit with Bill Monroe, I think. But anyway, Randall Collins briefly owned a music store in Murphy. That's where Pap bought his Roberts reel-to-reel recorder that he and Ray and Henry made their radio tapes for their radio show. They would record it on a reel-to-reel, and they'd take it down to the station, and the station would play that at the appointed hour. Sometimes they would also sing in person there, but they made those reel-to-reels for that purpose. Let's see what else is on here. I heard the Bluebirds sing. That's one of the Browns' biggest hits there, which was actually done as a duo. It's unusual for them. It was just Jim Ed Brown and one of the sisters. But this record had that on there. Buttons and Bows. One thing I should say about this record, it came out in 1965. It's very much the Nashville sound. It's for RCA, so very much the Nashville sound that the great Chet Atkins developed and made popular. You have orchestral backing on here. Even though you already have 3 singers in the Browns, sometimes you even have additional singers, backup singers, and by no means was it because the Browns couldn't handle things themselves. They were amazing singers, but it was just that fuller, richer sound. So Buttons and Bows, I normally wouldn't even like that kind of song. I would describe it as more of like a show tune, something that might appear in a Western musical or something like that, but it's just done so gosh darn well, you can't help but like it. And a lot of these songs, including that one, I greatly suspect have the great Floyd Kramer playing his slip note piano style. Maybe I'll put a link to that one in here too, Buttons and Bows. This Time I Would Know, which is the song I'm going to do for you in a little bit. Foolish Pride, Send Me the Pillow, I already mentioned that one. I'll Hold You in My Heart. Alpha and Omega, interesting title for a country song, not a gospel song. Remember Me, Oh No, and My Baby's Gone, which a lot of people recorded that song. It was a big hit back in the day for people like the Osborne Brothers. Anyway, that's why I chose to do this song for you. It's more just like a memory from me. The first one that I played, when I set the needle down on that zenith, was the Hank Locklin song, Send Me the Pillow. And it just filled the house. And it was just so soft and just so beautiful. And I remember Pap and Granny were there just kind of doing their thing. You know, Pap and Granny was probably over there breaking up green beans or something in the living room. And Pap was, I don't know, sharpening his case pocket knife or something. And they both just kind of looked up. And Pap had told me, you know, how good this was. And when that started kind of going through the house and it finished, Pap was kind of like, not bad, huh? It was just so beautiful. But I'll link to some of those other songs down below. One thing I want to mention about this song, This Time I Would Know. I'm sorry, it is kind of a sad song. I like to think of it as just a song about a missed opportunity. It doesn't mean that the speaker's life was over and that he or she could never love again or have, you know, any positive things. It's just about a missed opportunity. So, but one thing I want to point out about it, this guitar is probably greatly out of tune. Not too bad. It's my fault, I'm sure, and not the fault of the song, but this song has an awkward alternation. And when I say alternation, when you're playing in a chord on a guitar, let's take D, you alternate, or at least I do in the style of rhythm that I play, between the D string and the A string. Those are your 2 bass notes. So you would hit the D string, downbeat on the rest of the strings, then the A string, downbeat. So your alternation would be, then you would go to A maybe, alternate on those top strings. G, you would have that string and this string, you know, the E string and the D string. It's kind of like every chord has its 2 strings that you would alternate on. You know, for me in C, it would be the A string and the E string on top. So on and so forth. In E, which is where this song is, it's going to be the top string and the A string. Well, some songs, the alternation can be a little awkward. In most songs, you hit those 2 strings in a very predictable pattern and an even number of beats before you change something. And again, it's probably me, it's probably not the song. But sometimes in this song, in order to get the alternation to work, you have to hit one of those strings twice before you hit the other one. For example, if I've gone to B7, I don't know if you can see my hand here. It might have to go You might have to hit that A string twice or something. Anyway, you'll probably notice it in the song, and I'm probably not doing the song correctly, but there's just something about the alternation that's a little awkward, and it kind of changes chords sometimes after just a beat. It's kind of like you almost feel like you're splitting the beat or jumping the gun. It's not really apparent at all when you hear the Browns sing it, because you're not really hearing a guitar or even really the bass guitar very much. You're hearing more this flowing Nashville sound, this more string type sound. I can't remember if this one had an orchestra in it or not, but that's sort of the nature of the sound. You're not hearing the rhythm or the bass very much. But anyway, I just want to give you a heads up about that. I hope you enjoy this old-timey song. Like I said, look in the description below and you can hear some of those other songs from the Browns. One other thing that I'll share before I shut up, I'm really excited about this. I have the opportunity to do some more music with the great Doyle Dykes and Caleb Dykes, who's also great, also amazing. Of course, I get to make more music with Caleb because we kind of have formed that little gospel band, or that little band that we're kind of going around and making music in the community. But Lord willing, later this week, I'll get to play with them in one of Doyle's string-alongs. So it won't appear on this channel, but it will appear on Doyle Dykes' channel. Very excited about that, and when that is available or comes out, of course I'll share links here on this channel, either in a community post or something like that. But anyway, here is this old song that I learned from the Singing Browns, the trio there, the family trio, called This Time I Will Know. Oh, This Time I Would Know.
Darling, if our love could be once again like it used to be, I would hold you close to me. This time I would know. Little things we left unsaid, forever will be left unsaid. It could all be now instead. This time I would know. This time I would know. When you spoke of love and I to other talk would go, I loved you then as I love you now, but then I just didn't know. Little things we left unsaid, forever will be left unsaid. It could all be now instead. This time I would know. This time I would know. When you spoke of love and I to other talk did go, I loved you then as I love you now, but then I just didn't know. Little things we left unsaid, forever will be left unsaid. It should all be